We have another NHL trade to discuss, this one between Montreal and Dallas. We'll discuss the details coming up next. Welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have yet another NHL trade. This one is actually a one-for-one deal between the Montreal Canadiens and the Dallas Stars. The Canadiens have traded forward Evgeny Dadonov with 50% of his salary retained. So he was making $5 million bucks. So he's down to $2.5 million for the Dallas Stars. In return, Dallas sends the Montreal Canadiens 25-year-old forward Denis Gurianov. Now, I'm a little surprised at this trade, to be completely honest. I mean, part of me is not surprised that Dallas traded Gurianov. I mean, he's a 6'3", 200 pound. He's a 25-year-old forward who's young, has lots of skill, but I think it's fair to say this is a player that the Dallas Stars have kind of watched develop, and as much as they had their moments where they really loved the player, I think there's lots of times where he frustrated them as well, because you don't see that skill set, the higher end skill that he does possess, on a consistent basis. It just hasn't been consistent at all. If you go back to the 1920 season, Gurianov had a nice season. He really had a strong playoff push with Dallas. He appeared in 27 playoff games and 17 points. The regular season for him in 1920 was decent as well. It looked like it was a real coming out for Gurianov, and they thought they would have a longer term forward, like that skill, the things that they liked about him, and that they saw when they drafted him and were developing him. They were finally showing on a more consistent basis. So 2021, he continued to kind of build upon that season and put up 30 points in a shortened year, 55 games played. So that still projects to be good. It followed up a strong playoff run with another good regular season. But the last 2 years, the inconsistency has come back. And I think for the Stars, it was feeling like it was time for a fresh start, time to move on, because it just wasn't consistent enough. So in 21-22, he topped 30 points at 31, but he also played 73 games instead of 55. So really overall, the production went down. And then this year it dropped even further, 43 games on his resume this year with 9 points. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he was even a healthy scratch a few times. Not really working out the new coaching system there with Peter DeBoer. And it's just, an experiment they were willing to end. But for Montreal to take a guy like Evgeny Dadonov in the last couple of weeks, there was speculation that Montreal might not even be able to trade some of their pending UFA vets like Dadonov, like Durant, or even Hoffman, who was an extra year on his term, because they haven't played well enough to generate much interest. Now, lately, some of these guys have played a bit better, but for them to not only find a trade, but instead of getting a 5th or 6th round pick, which to be honest is what I thought they might end up getting, they get a player who is 25, so he's not old. He's still on the younger side of things and does have a track record of good play, just not consistently. So it's a little bit of a project, but maybe a fresh start, new scenery, different coach might be what he needs. He can play a little maybe looser style game like Cole Caulfield was underwear St. Louis maybe. Maybe he can work his magic with him. Really, like, why would you want to take a 5th or 6th round pick and wait 5 years for them to really have a shot at making the NHL when you have a 25-year-old, forward with some raw skill that you could get access to now? To me, this is a great deal by Kent Hughes. A little surprising by Jim Nill. I'm not shocked that Gurianov was moved. I'm just surprised that he was traded for a struggling, pending unrestricted free agent forward who really has not produced with any kind of consistency since he left Florida. He had a good run with the Panthers, but he was also riding shotgun with Barkov. Barkov makes everybody better, had a lot of power play success there as well, largely, again, because of the guys he was surrounded by. With the Ottawa on a free agent contract, had all kinds of power play opportunities, couldn't produce, went to Vegas, was inconsistent there, came to Montreal, was inconsistent there. I don't know why Dallas thinks that the 4th time is going to be the charm. I know it's just a depth piece, but, to give up Gurianov, who I thought they might have been able to move for something just a little bit better, something that might last in the organization. We'll see. I like to trade for Montreal more than I do for Dallas, but let me know what you think down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the NHL Trade Deadline 2023 news and all the rumors leading up to it as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.